The Great Hunger, also known as the Irish Potato Famine, was a period of mass starvation and disease in Ireland from 1845 to 1852. It was a time of unimaginable suffering where millions perished and millions more were forced to flee their homeland. The blight, a disease that ravaged potato crops, was the immediate cause of the famine. Potatoes were the staple food for most of the Irish population, especially the poor. When the blight struck, it wiped out their primary source of sustenance. The impact of the famine was devastating. It led to a sharp decline in population, mass emigration, and widespread poverty. It also transformed Irish agriculture, land ownership, and society as a whole. The famine left deep scars on the Irish psyche, shaping the nation's identity and its relationship with the world. The memory of the famine continues to resonate in Ireland and among the Irish diaspora today. The Great Hunger was a tragedy of immense proportions, a stark reminder of the fragility of human existence and the devastating consequences of poverty and inequality. It is a story of resilience and survival, but also of loss and displacement. It is a story that continues to shape Ireland's past, present, and future. The potato blight, caused by a fungus-like organism, Phytophthora infestans, first appeared in Europe in the early 1840s. It reached Ireland in 1845, quickly spreading across the island and decimating potato crops. The blight turned potatoes, the staple food of the Irish peasantry, into a black, rotting mush, unfit for consumption. The impact was immediate and devastating. The Irish peasantry relied heavily on potatoes for their sustenance. Potatoes were a calorie-rich and relatively easy crop to grow, providing sustenance for families and livestock. The blight's arrival threw millions into a state of food insecurity. The Irish population, already struggling with poverty and landlessness, was ill-prepared to cope with the sudden loss of their primary food source. The blight's impact extended beyond immediate hunger. It disrupted the agricultural economy, leading to job losses and a decline in trade. The lack of food and economic opportunities forced many to abandon their homes, seeking survival in overcrowded workhouses or through perilous emigration. The blight set in motion a chain reaction of hardship and displacement, forever altering the Irish landscape. The Great Hunger led to a dramatic decline in Ireland's population. It is estimated that over 1 million people died from starvation and disease during the famine years. Millions more were forced to emigrate, seeking better lives in far-off lands. Emigration became a desperate act of survival, a way to escape the hunger and poverty that gripped Ireland. The United States became the primary destination for Irish emigrants during the famine. Ships, often overcrowded and unsanitary, carried thousands across the Atlantic, hoping for a fresh start in America. Many arrived weak and impoverished, facing discrimination and hardship in their new home. Despite the challenges, they persevered, building new lives and contributing to the fabric of American society. The mass exodus during the famine years had a profound impact on Ireland's demographics. The population decline and the loss of a generation of young people left lasting scars on the country. The famine's legacy of emigration continued long after the immediate crisis, shaping Ireland's relationship with the wider world and contributing to the growth of the global Irish diaspora. The Great Hunger had a lasting impact on Irish agriculture and land ownership. The reliance on a single crop, the potato, proved to be a fatal flaw in the Irish agricultural system. The famine highlighted the need for diversification, prompting gradual shifts towards other crops like grains and livestock. However, these changes were slow to take root, and the Irish countryside remained dominated by small subsistence farms. The famine also exacerbated existing tensions over land ownership. Most Irish farmers were tenants, renting land from absentee landlords who often lived in England. The famine's devastation led to widespread evictions as landlords sought to consolidate landholdings and maximize profits. The loss of land further impoverished the Irish peasantry, pushing them towards emigration or destitution. The legacy of the famine's impact on land ownership continued to shape Irish society for decades. The struggle for land reform became a central theme in Irish politics, culminating in the land war of the late 19th century. The famine's legacy served as a reminder of the injustices of the land system and the need for greater control over Irish resources. The Great Hunger plunged Ireland into a state of abject poverty. The loss of the potato, coupled with mass unemployment and displacement, created a humanitarian crisis of immense proportions. Families were torn apart, forced to beg for food or seek refuge in overcrowded workhouses. The famine's impact on poverty was both immediate and long-lasting. The experience of hunger and deprivation left deep scars on the Irish psyche. The memory of the famine became ingrained in the national consciousness, shaping attitudes towards poverty, food security, and social welfare. The famine served as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of the poor and the need for social safety nets to protect the most vulnerable members of society. The legacy of poverty endured long after the famine years. Ireland struggled with economic stagnation and high levels of emigration throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries. The famine's impact on poverty served as a catalyst for social reform movements seeking to address the root causes of inequality and create a more just and equitable society. The Great Hunger had a profound impact on Irish society and culture. The famine years witnessed a weakening of traditional social structures as families were torn apart by hunger, death, and emigration. The Catholic Church, a central pillar of Irish life, played a complex role during the famine, offering support to the suffering but also facing criticism for its perceived complicity with the established order. The famine also had a lasting impact on Irish culture. The experience of hunger and loss gave rise to a rich tradition of folk music and literature expressing the pain, resilience, and hope of the Irish people. The famine became a defining moment in Irish history, shaping the nation's identity and its relationship with the world. The cultural shifts brought about by the famine continued to resonate in the decades that followed. The famine's legacy fueled Irish nationalism and the desire for self-determination. The memory of the famine served as a reminder of the need for social justice, economic independence, and a more equitable distribution of resources. The Great Hunger led to the creation of a vast Irish diaspora as millions fled their homeland in search of a better life. The Irish diaspora, scattered across the globe, carried with them the memory of the famine and a deep connection to their ancestral homeland. The diaspora played a significant role in shaping global perceptions of Ireland and its history. The Irish diaspora, particularly in the United States, contributed to the growth of Irish culture and identity abroad. Irish communities established churches, schools, and cultural organizations, preserving their heritage and transmitting it to future generations. The diaspora also played a role in supporting Irish nationalist movements, providing financial and political backing for those seeking independence from British rule. The Irish diaspora's global reach continues to be felt today. Irish communities around the world celebrate their heritage, contributing to the richness and diversity of cultures across the globe. The legacy of the famine serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of human history and the lasting impact of migration and displacement. The Great Hunger, a period of unimaginable suffering and loss, left an indelible mark on Ireland and its people. The famine's legacy continues to resonate today, shaping the nation's identity, its relationship with the world, and its ongoing quest for social justice and economic equality. The famine serves as a reminder of the fragility of human existence, the importance of food security, and the need for social safety nets to protect the most vulnerable. The memory of the famine must not be forgotten. It is a story that needs to be told and retold, ensuring that future generations understand the magnitude of the tragedy and the lessons it holds for humanity. The famine's legacy should inspire us to work towards a world where poverty and hunger are eradicated, where all people have access to basic necessities, and where the mistakes of the past are not repeated. The Great Hunger serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of inequality, neglect, and political inaction. It is a story of resilience, survival, and the enduring spirit of the Irish people. It is a story that continues to shape Ireland's past, present, and future, inspiring hope for a more just and equitable world.